welcome to this video. Now, I have a few videos to record tonight, so let's get on to this. So, welcome to this video. Now, as you can tell by the title, it is my December book haul. It is currently 12:37 a.m. on the 22nd of December, so I think I'm pretty good on the fact that I'm not going to get any more books this month. So let's get on to it, shall we? Also, you'll notice I did some lighting changes. So now I have a bright ass light over there. It's going to be really hard for me to ignore, but I'm learning to deal with it. So our first book for this book haul is the fourth and I believe final book in the An Ember in the Ashes series, which is A Sky Beyond the Storm. Now, I just reread An Ember in the Ashes. That's one of the videos I'm going to be recording after this. And, oh my god, I've read An Ember in the Ashes before, and I've read A Torch Against the Night. I have not read any further than that, but there was so much I didn't remember. There was so much that went on, and it was like I was reading it for the first time again. It was fucking amazing. I'm going to get to that later, so I am really excited for how this series goes about and ends, and now I have the full series to read it. So, there's that. You can't even see that. There we go, that's a little better. So, yes, can't wait to read that. First I gotta get through Torch Against the Night, Reaper at the Gates, and then I can do Sky Beyond the Storm. Next one is, I think, an unfinished series, because I don't think it's Duology. Well, yeah, there's a third book. A third book that's not out yet, I think. And now, before I bring up these books, I'm going to mention something. I like symmetry in a lot of my books, which is why I waited to get the paperbacks of An Ember in the Ashes series. Now, I'm not going to lie, I thought when I bought the first book in this series that I bought the hardcover. I did not. So I have a mismatched version where the second book is the hardcover, the first book is a paperback. Anyways, so yeah. So we have the Inheritance games and the Hawthorne Legacy. These are both, I think these are like an urban fantasy. Now, I haven't read an urban fantasy in a long time. So it's going to be nice to kind of get back into that. Granted, I don't know how that's going to go. I also don't know much. I mean, look at these covers. Tell me that you would not buy this based on the cover alone. Tell me. I actually saw this one first, and then I realized it had a first book, so I bought the first book, and then I apparently bought the paperback. Now, this is going to bother me a lot, so I might end up giving this away to like a thrift bookstore, yeah, but I will be likely giving this away, and when I can, obviously, and then I'll buy the hardcover, because I have this thing with having all of my books match in cover-wise. Frankly, I know a lot of people do have that thing, so these are by Jennifer Lynn Barnes, and I'm so excited and can't wait to get into them. Granted, it's going to take a while, because I have a lot of books that I plan on getting into really soon. Granted, I did try and read Gilded. I got like 5-6 chapters in, and I just stopped reading it. For no reason, actually. Like, maybe I'm just seeing the whole fae and stuff like that being overdone at this point. So I'm trying to find stuff that's not Fae related, and that's exactly what that is. So maybe it's not a good time to be reading Marissa Meyer's Gilded. On to the next book, which is called The Bone Shard Daughter by Andrea Stewart. Now, to be honest with you, I bought this on the cover alone, because look at her. Look at how beautiful this is. It's gorgeous, and I love it. I don't know how you couldn't love this. This cover. Now, this book cost me, how much? $35. Now, I haven't spent almost $40 on a hardcover since I bought this thing, which was $34. How is this cheaper? This 10th anniversary edition of City of Bones? Cheaper than this thing? I don't know. I'm never gonna know. But, yeah. I am pretty excited to get into this. I'm gonna lower the camera a little so I don't have to keep raising these up to check it. Alright. There you go, a little more comfortable of a height. But can't wait to read this. I know nothing about it, but I don't really. I just love it. I like the cover, and that's how I get a lot of books, is I look at the cover and I'm like, oh, that looks interesting, let's read the little blip, and then I forget what the blip says, but it's in my cart, so I'm buying it. Next we have, I think, a duology. But also, I haven't done much research into these. I just kind of jump into this video and I'm just like, hey, these are some books I bought. So we have Shielded. These are by Kaylin Flanders, which is a really familiar author name. I don't know why. I don't own any books by her, but yeah. And then we have Untethered, which is the sequel to Shielded. Now, I do know a little bit about this. So Shielded is about, what's her fucking name? Princess Genocera, who's apparently very, very good with a weapon. But she doesn't have magical abilities because she is the second born to the throne, so she doesn't have these magical abilities. So she is arranged to be wed off to deal with this whole war going on. This is all I know. And then something happens, and yeah, I honestly don't know much. But this one I do remember briefly looking at it a bit more to see things. I do like the concept of, oh, this main character doesn't have magic, but her sibling does, so how is she going to deal with this? Granted, it's probably just a normal thing because, yeah, but I can't wait to get into this. I love when, I have this obsession with pre-modern weapons. I want to say, like, guns, stuff like that, I don't like. I do not like anything that uses gunpowder or stuff like that. I, however, love crossbows, bows. I took some archery lessons when I was a kid. I did all of this awesome stuff with, like, archery. I love the concept of throwing knives. In fact, I have thrown knives they weren't like official throwing knives. I love daggers, I love swords, I love looking into all of it. Now, that's also probably why my book and the sequel, which I will go in further into that in a writing blog that will be coming out at some point. It will be recorded tonight, but at some point it will come out. But yeah, I will go further into some stuff about my second book and my third book now. But anyways, I have this fascination with weapons, which is why every single royal in the universe that I created has a different weapon, and none of them are like dun related. None of them deal with that kind of thing. The closest I have, and is not actually a weapon from a royal, is actually a high-powered auto-reload wrist-mounted crossbow, which I spent quite a bit researching and then designing it, and then trying to figure out how the science would go. Now, it's not conceptual with our current science, but this is a fantasy world, and I get to bend rules, so it exists. But yeah, so can't wait to get into this. Honestly, I really picked this up mostly because there's a sword on it, and by the looks of it, it might be a long sword, like a hand-and-a-half sword. I've done so much, but depending on a lot of things, it could just be a short sword, one-handed sword. It's definitely not a two-handed sword, obviously, by that hilt length. But with hand-and-a-half swords, you can have your hand on the pommel as well. So, but yeah, can't wait to get into this as well. I'm going to be having a week off, like from January 3rd to the 10th, so I'm going to be definitely reading for a lot of it. Granted, I'll also be writing, so I'll get through all of this eventually. Next, we have Jade Fire Gold by Jun Clitan. I hope I am pronouncing that name right. Probably not. Again, bought it for the cover, but also this, I don't know what it's based on, but I love it. I love the concept of this. Now, I don't remember much, but I get, from this entire thing, I get like dark, gritty kind of things going on here. Might not be that, but I feel like this is either Japanese or Chinese. Can I think of words? Or originating from Japanese or Chinese kind of background, and honestly, kind of digging it. I kind of got really obsessed with Japanese weaponry and feudal Japan kind of stuff after I read Shadow and the Fox trilogy, because I'm still lingering on that, even though it's been a year since I read that book. It's been more than a year since I finished the series, and I'm still not too happy with how it ended, but you know what? You gotta learn to live past it. I'll learn to deal with that. But yeah, Jade Fire Gold. I love the cover. I really don't know what it's about. Granted, it says her destiny, his revenge. So I'm looking forward to this. I have no idea what it's about still, but one has magical abilities, one doesn't. That's all I know. That's all I shall know until I get into reading that. God, this light is so warm. Alright, now this is our second to last book here, which is The Keeper of Night by Kylie Lee Baker. I know this is based off of some... Okay, yeah, half British Reaper, half Japanese Shinigami. So, I haven't dug into the Japanese lore in a while. So, Shinigami, I'm not entirely sure what that is in Japanese lore. I'm going to be looking into it before I even get into this. But, I like the stylistic choices with this cover. Like, you can see individual brush strokes. And it's really neat. It's something you don't often see on covers. And as someone who went through arts, just like art class after art class, and then went through graphic design school in college, I appreciate the designs of this. And I appreciate the small things like showing each and every tiny little brushstroke with using black and white, using black to be able to show texture, and it's all really cool, and I kind of love this art style. It's really good. Again, I don't know a whole lot. I'm really bad at book hauls. I should know what these books are about, but I go into books blind, and I like it that way. So, yeah. So The Keeper of Night by Kylie Lee Baker. Also, don't know if this is a standalone, but I didn't see anything about a second book. Otherwise, I likely would have bought it. Now, next on our little list is, so actually this is the last book I have, is Iron Widow. Now I know for a fact this takes place, well, it's kind of like a, when I think of it, it's kind of like a sort of sci-fi kind of, I'm thinking dystopian. I think it's sci-fi dystopian that's kind of based loosely on, I think, Chinese lore a little. Loosely. Also, I don't know. So don't quote me on any of it. But I did read the prologue of this, and it's really neat, and I'm really looking forward to continuing through this. But I think the reason I feel like it's based in like Chinese, I'm gonna say lore, because I don't know how to fucking... I have been writing recently, and my brain stops working when I'm not writing, so... but I think it's Chinese-based because I kind of get a Mulan-esque kind of thing from this. And I don't know if that's what it is. I really don't, but even this cover gives me Mulan vibes. Anyone else? So, yes. Those are all the books for this book haul. It's definitely more than the last one, but these are all the books that I bought. I don't know if I'm buying any more. I have to save to move again in August. But yeah. That's it for this video. I hope you all enjoyed this video. Okay, so let's just continue on. So I hope you all enjoyed this video, and I will. I don't know my intro anymore. Alright, my outro. I mean, words. I read, I write, but can I speak? No, the answer is no, never, never. Anyways, so I hope you all enjoyed this video, and if you did, give it a good, nice like, and subscribe if you want to see more content from me. Hit that notification bell so you are notified for when I post new videos, because it's never consistent, never will be. Maybe one day, but like not anytime soon. So ring that bell for your notifications, and I will see you all in the next video.